Hi, welcome to CruNation, your weekly update show for the Joplin Crusaders, brought to you by Fletcher Ford of Joplin. We're coming to you live from Gasano's Chicago-style pizzeria here in Joplin. Joined this week by seasoned veterans of the Crusaders. Got safety Cleavon Williams and wide receiver Chris Turner. Guys, welcome to the show this week.
Thanks for having us.
I'd like to take the time to start off the show by getting to know these guys a little bit better with your playing background. Cleavon, let's start with you about your football background and what brought you to the Joplin Crusaders.
I walked on at NEO and got a scholarship at Oklahoma State. Played 2 years there, had a few workouts for different teams. Took a little time off and moved back here, I believe, in '98, and played for a semi-pro team in Springfield for a couple years, and knew a bunch of guys that played here in Joplin. Had some old teammates that played up at Missouri Southern, so they talked me into playing this charity event against the Springfield Suits, and at the time it was Joplin Jaguars. So I stuck around, and a couple years went by. We had different little programs. We had a 8-man bullet ball team that was really fun, and then the Joplin Crusaders got organized, and I started playing with those guys. I've been here ever since, so it's been a nice marriage, so to speak.
Yeah, you talk about being here at the start of the Crusaders. I'm about to start calling you Father Time.
Hey,
It's okay. No matter how many years go by, Cleavon's always one of the staples to this team, and we're lucky to have him. Which brings us to our next guest. Anybody familiar with Missouri Southern football might recognize our guest, Chris Turner here. Chris, why don't you give us a little bit of your football background and how you became a Joplin Crusader?
Okay, well, originally I'm from St. Louis, where I played high school at Clayton High School there in St. Louis. I played wide receiver, DB, safety, pretty much anything they needed me at. Now I came down to Joplin actually to run track, and I ended up walking on to the football team and had a decent career in both track and football. When I graduated, I took a year off, I think in 2006, I think, or 5, I think 2006 when I actually came out to the Crusaders. A buddy of mine, Joey Ballard, was playing, and he told me I need to come out, play receiver. And I came out, I had the time of my life. I loved it, and I've been there ever since, on and off. I took a couple breaks, but I'm back this year. This is my first year back, so here I am.
And you kind of hit on something interesting that most people don't know. But like, we've got so many guys from all kinds of walks of life and different backgrounds and their experiences with football. But you talk about taking time off, and what keeps bringing you guys back to the Crusaders every year? Because we know you're not getting paid. Fortunately, we're not up to that level where we can pay the players, no matter how much we'd like to. So, is there something that about this team and about the guys on it and how it's structured that keeps bringing you back every year?
Well, first I'll say the family environment. I mean, these are all my brothers. This is my family. I love it. I love the game of football itself. I just cannot not play. You know, as long as I'm able to do something, I think I'm gonna always play and be a Crusader. So that's it for me.
Well, same for me. The brotherhood, family atmosphere, and the fact that, we all have this unspoken rule about, doing our best for each other. We're gonna protect each other's back regardless, and the only way to do that is for us to do our job. You do your job, he does his, and everybody takes care of itself. And as a whole, we will win. We've had this motto, myself, I can say, had this motto, divide and conquer. And that means that regardless of where we go and who we play, we will divide and conquer them before they do us, because we're going to force our will on each and every other team we play, and that's how we play, offense and defense. So and I love that. And I only found that here, and that's the best part about it, so I'm going to stick with it.
We'll talk about your time with the Crusaders, being here from the start. Is there any one point in time where you can remember how the team attitude and the focus of divide and conquer, things that you talked about, and the mentality of the family, the brotherhood, that kind of became the motto for the team, and everybody started just kind of rolling it over into the next year after that? Was there any point in time where that became obvious to you?
I believe it's week 3, week 4. Majority of the time, it's just the fact that regardless of how much we win, they find ways to take away from that shine, that work, that hard work that we put in as a team, as a unit. They always try to find a way. Oh, well, it was the refs, or it was something. It was always something. It was never our ability. It wasn't the fact that we worked and bust our tail off as a team, and we found a way to win. And that kind of gets under your skin. And at a point, you want to prove them wrong. So each year we got to prove them wrong. Until you can beat us, you really don't have much to say. When you beat us, then we'll give you that respect. But until then, you have to earn it.
Yeah, earn it between the lines, right? And CT, is there something different, or is it pretty much the same thing? You guys have kind of gone and taken breaks and come back. Does that seem to be the recurring theme for the team, like the way everybody sees as they approach the games each week?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the atmosphere here is I mean, we're going to hit you. You know, we're going to play all 4 quarters, and we always find ways to come out and win these games, even against all adversity. You know, we're very resilient. Make sure I get that word right. But coming back, every time I come back, it's the same. It's just the atmosphere here. It's the best I've ever been on. I've been on many teams, and this is probably by far the best. Family oriented, and we got each other's backs. It's unbelievable.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by head coach David Pitts.
CruNation is brought to you in part by Fletcher Ford of Joplin. Come see us and our expertise for all your new and used Ford needs. Gusano's Chicago-style pizzeria at 7th and Duquesne in Joplin. Doing it Chicago style. And Light 'em Up Video Productions, your home for custom sports video.
Back-to-back championships!
Welcome back to CruNation. I'm your host, Austin Woodard, and I'm joined now by head coach Dave Pitts and offensive coordinator Brendan Gabera. Coaches, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Coming off last night's second victory of the season against the Arkansas Ducks, Crusaders were able to prevail 21-14 off a new team into the Central Football League. Brought some new talent and some new challenges to the Crusaders last night. What was your overall take of last night's game?
You know, from the first week to the second week, I felt that we executed a lot better on both sides of the ball. We're still obviously need a whole lot more improvement. But, you know, taking nothing away from Arkansas, they came and they played well.
Yeah, Coach Pitts nailed it. I mean, we're still trying to find a rhythm right now on both sides of the ball, and we're still trying to find identity, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You know, are we a 21 personnel team with 2 back and 1 tight end, or are we a true spread team? You know, a 10 personnel team with 1 back, no wide receiver, or 1 back, 4 wide receivers, no tight end. You know, we can't figure that out yet right now, and so we mixed it up a little bit last night. Ran some 2 back stuff, ran some 4 wide stuff, and there was improvement up front, but there's still a lot of areas to grow in.
And with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at last night's highlights against the Arkansas Ducks. Coaches came out, kind of got off and get into another slow start, kind of getting the feel for the new team in the Central Football League. But overall, it didn't take as long as it did against the Reckoning in the previous week. How do you all feel how the team was ready for this week's game? Especially having last week's game against the Raptors canceled due to inclement weather, gave you another chance to prepare and focus on the Ducks a little bit more. How do you feel the team came out ready for this one?
You know, I thought we came out ready to play, came out focused. A lot of defensively mostly, and he'll speak of the offense, but we're still trying to figure out, trying to find an identity and, personnel combinations, things like that that's going to fit with what we do. And so we're still trying a lot of combinations of players in different spots and stuff. And so because of that, I contribute that to a lot of our slow start. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get a rhythm when you keep changing them around.
And when you're trying to find that rhythm, would you feel like more mistakes are being made?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It's kind of got to get in your groove, which it seemed like the Crusaders last night were able to hit a groove a little bit earlier than they did against the Reckoning. You got Prince Jones running in, getting the scoring started, at least on the offensive side of the ball, with his 2-yard touchdown scamper. Got points on the board early for the team. Coach, how do you feel everybody responded to that?
Last week we missed on a couple screen passes. That's what sticks out in my mind from week 1. Last night we hit on a couple big screen passes on that drive you're talking about that we scored on, and Prince Jones had a couple nice receptions that got us inside the goal line. Then to punch it in from 2 yards out, whereas 2 weeks ago we tried to run some power 2-back stuff and we struggled. So to get that push up front, and he walked in the end zone untouched on that first touchdown run. That was a great opener for us. We were hoping we could keep the foot on the accelerator a little more the entire game, but we had a little bit of a letdown in the second half. But the first 2 quarters were pretty solid for us offensively.
And then, of course, you talk about Prince Jones in the running game. Can't ignore the passing game last night that got into effect. And we get into the second quarter and have just an acrobatic layout catch by Danny Knighton in the end zone to go up ahead by 2 scores for the Crusaders on the Ducks. It seemed like Steve Hamilton, the quarterback, kind of started to get a little bit rhythm on the deeper routes with the receivers last night.
That was a great side adjustment on both their parts. We had press coverage inside. We actually had inside zone called. We had run play called, but that was a great check at the line of scrimmage. The guy was taking away the inside right up in Danny's face. Safety was over the top of the tackle, so we had room to throw the ball. Steve threw a great ball, and Danny made a beautiful catch, which Danny's been known to do. Drags both feet, gets it in for the touchdown, and then Steve follows it up on the next drive. I think after we block a punt or force a fumble on a punt or something, and he throws a beautiful strike to Chris Turner. After we had set up a little double move on a bubble concept with a go route, he threw another strike down the sideline, and those are things Steve Hamilton's capable of doing. And we need to clean a few things up with his footwork and get him to throw the shorter stuff over the middle, but he definitely threw the deep ball really well last night.
And coming into it, finished last night, had 16 completions on 26 attempts, threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. You had guys, you talked about Chris Turner and Danny Knighton, but you had other guys like Trey Nash, stepping up with 2 pretty good, nice catch and runs for 12 yards. Then you got guys like Ryan Langford, another guy with 2 catch and runs for 25 yards. Then, of course, you got the old trusty a little bit. Heath Baker has been in the system a long time. Yeah. On the offensive side, and then you got another running back in Tyler Merrill steps up and is able to take the burden off Prince Jones a little bit in the run game. All that being said, with the offense finding their rhythm, Coach Pitts, same old story early in the season, defense starts to find their rhythm and is able to keep the team into the game and stay competitive with everything. He had a lot of chances, a lot of pass breakups going down the middle, a lot of chances at some turnovers, but all in all, another solid defensive game for the Crusaders.
Yeah, like I said, we're still interchanging a lot of components, trying to get 11 guys are going to work together. And last night, I like to say that we had about 8 nice pass deflections, but actually we had about 6 interceptions dropped right in our hands and out.
They were clean opportunities.
Yes,
too.
They were. But I think once we get our feet underneath us, and I quit moving people around as much. I think we're going to settle in, and they played well, played solid, and we've talked about it before on here that when it comes down to it, it's our veterans that we lean on. And again, last night when we needed stops, our veterans stepped up and made the plays for us.
And all in all, last night, total team effort. Offense gets going a little bit earlier than the first week. That defense is able to back them up and keep the Ducks out of the end zone and come away with the 21-14 victory and off to a 2-0 start for the 2015 season. So you got to feel good about that.
Yes, we do.
All right. We'll be right back after this commercial break with more of Crew Nation. Welcome back to Crew Nation, joined once again by head coach Dave Pitts and offensive coordinator Brendan Gabera. And now we're going to take a look at last night's offensive play of the game against the Arkansas Ducks. Coach Goobs, you mind if I call you Goobs?
That's fine.
Everybody else does. So we got Danny Knighton on that long touchdown pass from Stephen Hampton where he lays out in the end zone. Just another beautiful play and capability. It shows his athleticism. What was your take from that play?
Danny's a great player. He's always been a great player for us. And when your back's against the wall, that's one guy you can always count on. And we talked about it earlier. Steve threw a great ball, and Danny, he threw it where only Danny was going to get it. And Danny went and got it in his Superman spectacular way that he likes to do things.
Let's take a look at last night's defensive play of the game against the Arkansas Ducks. Coach Pitts, last night, defensive play of the game was Dave Lipscomb, middle linebacker.
Yes.
Shutting down that swing pass on the edge, coming from all the way from middle of the field on a 4th and 7 against the Ducks, and definitely seemed to be a big momentum swinger on that one as it's a long drive for the Ducks, and it started to seem like they're getting momentum on their side, and Dave was there to shut it down. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, that drive, they had a couple plays that, they made a couple nice plays, and then we had a penalty that prolonged their drive, and then they started, like you said, they started getting a little momentum, and then it was 4th and about 7, and Lippy come up, or Dave Lipscomb, we call him Lippy. He came up with a nice play on a little swing pass, and came up and stopped the guy with 2 yards from the first down, which was big. It was late in the game, and gave us possession of the ball, and to me it was a momentum killer for him.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, you lean on your veterans when you need a big play, and David been around the team for a long time.
Yes, he has.
And was able to read that and get on his horse and get over there and shut that play. That would have been sustaining the drive, but shut them down in their tracks and gave possession back to the Crusaders. Definitely swung the momentum back in their favor. And the second half, that seemed just to be back and forth. And it was definitely a huge play. May have been forgotten by a lot, but wasn't forgotten by the guys that know. So
no, it was big.
So that's our offensive and defensive plays of the game. Coaches, we're going to take a look ahead to the upcoming weeks. Next week, we've got the Northwest Arkansas Battle. I know them as the Washington County Warriors, team that's been in the CFL about as long as the Joplin Crusaders have. Probably the last 2 original CFL teams going against each other next weekend. What do you look to see from the battle?
Well, like you said, they've been long-standing in this league. They bounce around from field to field, and they change their name every couple of years. They change their uniform colors, but it's still the same Washington County Warriors team we remember from 2003, 2004. And they always gave us fits then, and we expect them to give us fits now. Traditionally they've had just solid fundamental players that always get amped up to play the Crusaders. It's truly a rivalry game.
And definitely got the talent to back that up. They're able to pull, being right there in Fayetteville, able to pull some players from the University of Arkansas.
Yes, it is.
I know back in my playing days, definitely went up against a defensive end that ended up going on to play up in the CFL, but he spent his full college career at the University of Arkansas. What kind of things are you expecting on the offensive side from the battle, Coach Pitts?
Historically, as well as this year, they're big up front. They have nice athletic wide receivers, and they'll run. Sometimes they'll run the spread, and they'll go to the I formation. It's time a 3-back set. Very, very physical. I mean, they're physical on both sides of the ball, but offensively they bring it, and they want to play a little smash mouth with you. And, like you said earlier, they're just athletic. Very, very athletic.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about their athleticism, they're probably going to be a little bit of sense of desperation on their part. They come out from their season opener against the Ducks with a victory, but they're on a 2-game skid. What do you expect their mentality to be like? Because Crusaders being the defending national champions, it kind of always seems to be a special bullseye on the back of the players. Do you expect them to be just a little bit more physical and try a little bit something new that you may not have seen before?
They, like every other team in this league, they get pretty amped up to play us, and they're always going to have something special up their sleeve for us, and they've always got a ball hawk in the secondary. Jason Campbell, I think, has over 100 career receptions in the Central Football League play, which is astounding. So they're going to do some things to create some mismatches, problems for us, and they'll probably try to force us to be one-dimensional on the offensive side of the ball. They'll probably try to take away our run game and and probably want us to try to throw the football a little bit, so that plays into their strength of their secondary.
Coach, do you expect anything from their offense that your defense needs to be ready for?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to be ready for their athleticism. I think I think towards the end of the game this week, we settled in with a core 11, and I think we just go out and we play the way we play, and I think we'll be all right.
All right. Long couple next weeks for the Crusaders, both road games for the next on the schedule. Next week against the Arkansas Battle in Fayetteville. Actually, it's more Springdale at Shiloh Christian. Then they take the Easter break off, and then they're again in Arkansas against the Guardians, and won't be back home until the 25th of April against the Enid Enforcers. So we look for kickoff to be about 6:30 on the 25th of April. Be sure to get your 2015 season passes. They're still available. Big thanks to our sponsors, Fletcher Ford of Joplin, Gusano's Pizzeria at the corner of 7th and Duquesne here in Joplin. And as always, we thank the coaches for showing up for another episode of Crew Nation. We'll see you next time.